and we never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made, because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force.
It was a cold January day in the Swiss Alps, but the political climate was heating up. On January 21st, 2026, at the World Economic Forum in Davos, President Donald Trump stepped before the world's media. He addressed a subject that had sent shockwaves through the transatlantic alliance, Greenland. For weeks, his administration's rhetoric had been aggressive, suggesting military options were not off the table to secure American interests on the vast, ice-covered island. The tension was palpable. European leaders arrived at the summit anxious and uncertain. The global community held its breath, waiting for a signal. That signal came in a surprising reversal. "I don't want to use force," Trump declared. It was a shift from the belligerence of previous weeks to pragmatic deal-making. The Davos Declaration did not happen in a vacuum. It was the culmination of a tense and volatile start to 2026. In early January, President Trump had employed language that left little room for interpretation. He spoke of the United States needing to use excessive strength and force regarding Greenland, vowing that America would be unstoppable if it chose to act. These were not subtle diplomatic hints. They were direct and alarming statements that echoed across the Atlantic. For America's NATO allies, the comments were deeply unsettling, particularly Denmark, which holds sovereignty over Greenland. They suggested a willingness to abandon the core principles of the alliance: mutual respect, the inviolability of sovereign territory. This aggressive posturing was amplified by a stunning military operation thousands of miles away. In early January, U.S. Special Forces captured Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. While the White House presented it as a counter-narcotics and anti-terrorism measure, global perception was different. To understand the intense focus on Greenland, you must look beyond its icy surface and see it through the lens of 21st century geopolitics. The island's significance rests on three strategic factors: defense, great power competition, and natural resources. First, location. Greenland is the world's largest island, sitting like a giant sentinel over the Arctic Ocean, guarding vital North Atlantic sea lanes. Patuxent Space Base, the U.S. northernmost military installation, is located there, providing missile warning and space surveillance. As climate change melts the Arctic ice, new shipping routes are opening up and naval passages are forming, making Greenland more strategically vital than ever. President Trump's announcement at Davos was more than just a promise to stand down. It was the unveiling of a new strategic approach. Having used the threat of force to get the world's attention, he now pivoted to diplomacy, offering a framework of a future deal as the path forward. This proposal, worked out with NATO, was designed to address American security concerns without triggering a catastrophic breakdown of the alliance. The core idea was to formalize and potentially expand the United States military and strategic footprint in Greenland through cooperation, not coercion. This could involve upgrading existing facilities like Patuxent Space Base, establishing new joint security arrangements, or increasing investments in dual-use infrastructure. A crucial element of this framework was the explicit assurance that it would not involve a transfer of sovereignty. The immediate effect of the Davos pivot was a collective sigh of relief across Europe. The explicit promise to not use force immediately de-escalated the crisis and averted a potential trade war, as European nations had been quietly preparing retaliatory tariffs. This move was effective damage control, pulling the transatlantic relationship back from a dangerous precipice. However, while the immediate danger subsided, the episode has left lasting consequences. The most significant of these is the erosion of trust. For America's allies, the fact that a military threat was even considered has left a deep sense of unease. The crisis also offers a clear window into a distinct negotiating style that mixes belligerence with pragmatism. Stake out an extreme position, and then retreat to a more moderate stance that still achieves a significant portion of the original goal.